What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal, Steele, coming to you live for a special Friday night late show edition. Welcome to the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the weekend. Boy, oh boy, have things heated up, and we're going to talk about that stuff tonight. And Dogecoin up about 5.5% as of right now over the last hour. Looking bullish. And for those of you who caught my Twitter space, it was a good one. Good turnout and really fruitful, in-depth conversation. I was co-hosting with Catherine Brodsky. I think David G was even in there hanging out. I know Zombie Doge Army was, etc. Anyway, before we get started, if I could just ask you to smash that like button. I want you to smash that like button like you'd smash your childhood celebrity crush. Also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you aboard. We've got a really excellent little thing going on here, community, and I'd love to have you be a part of it. So feel free to hit subscribe button and stick around. Also, if you could just keep in mind to essentially share the tweet out of the live stream. That would be awesome. I'm going to post a link to that there. If you could be so kind to RT it if you are on Twitter. Just let your fellow community members know that we're doing the dang thing. That would be awesome. And you could become a member. I don't know whether you were a member before or you never became a member. You can simply do that by clicking the link pinned at the top of the chat, starting just $4 a month. It's $1 a week, ladies and gentlemen. And lastly, if you feel compelled to super chat anywhere throughout the duration of this broadcast, that's obviously hugely appreciated for the time and efforts put in. Without any further ado, let's see who's up in the chat this late evening. The Hump Deezy, Corey E., Zombie Doge Army, Robbie Gilchrist, the Dogecoin Dolphin. Good to see. He's got a new profile pic, too. Looking snazzy, my friend. Real snazzy. Zombie Doge Army, of course. What Steven Steele live would be complete without the Zombie Doge Army? Alan Schneider, good to see you back in the mix. Hope you're feeling okay, brother. RW, what's going on? Dose Extra coming in. It's like we got the band back together. Well, it'll probably be sparsely populated as it's going on about 1 in the morning in my neck of the woods, give or take an hour, depending on where you're at. But we're going to have a good time. So, unless you've been living under a rock, the transference of power has been causing quite a dust-up as it relates to Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, it is wild style. The gloves are off, and people are losing their minds. They're losing their collective minds. Let's go over to Elon's Twitter and see what's going on, shall we? He is on fire, tweeting out about 2 hours ago, power to the people, with lightning bolts. Before that, responding to our friend Crypto Batman, who has yet to ever make a debut appearance on this program. No excuse for that, my friend. At this point, come on. No excuse. We love Crypto Batman, though. I think he goes by Crypto Daddy now. That feels even weirder saying, doesn't it? Anyway, he responded to Elon earlier today and said, 99% of us know that you're a good man, Elon. The other 1% are just so damn loud. Elon responded personally to him, said, I try my best. Dan Rather, veteran news anchor, said, is Musk running Twitter like Trump ran his casinos? To which Elon Musk simply responded, $8. $8. And right before he tweeted that out, he tweeted this: trash me all day, but it'll cost $8. So Elon going into full troll mode. Zombie Doge Army coming in with the first super chat of the night. Appreciate it, brother. $3 make you holler with a little, put a little rock to your lock. Put a little lock to your rock, rather. Appreciate that. So I think there it is. I just tweeted out moments ago. What did I say here? I said, the new response to annoying sanctimonious people is simply $8. It's simply $8. Anybody remember that old 80s, seminal 80s comedy starring John Cusack called Better Off Dead? One of my favorite comedic joints. That movie really stands up the test of time in terms of comedy, in my opinion. If you haven't seen it, stream it after this stream is done, and thank me. Thank me later. It's well worth it. Well worth the $5 fee or whatever it would be to stream on Amazon. Anyway, it reminds me of a character in there, a paper boy, a very intense little paper boy. And he goes around, this is back in the day when paper boys were responsible for collecting their own dues from recipients of their newspapers. And throughout this movie, he is trying to collect his $2. And he knocks on the door, I want my $2. Kind of reminds me of Elon. I want my $8. $8, I want my $8. Now, I also tweeted something out earlier today that was very encouraging for those of you who are Dogecoin enthusiasts. It's a little footage from a podcast called The Kilowatts, group of 3 guys. In it, he is talking about his passion for the template known as micropayments. And it looks like micropayments are coming to Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming to Twitter. And it looks like Dogecoin will likely be a payment option for those micropayments. Maybe some of you are asking, what the heck is a micropayment? Basically what he is proposing, and you know how so many different news outlets have their own respective paywalls now? Well, instead of reading the articles and paying for those paywalls, we all know darn well that most of us don't sign up for a monthly subscription to read an article. We'll just keep on going to the next thing. So what Elon is proposing is, let's say the New York Times or whatever has articles behind a paywall. This way people will be able to simply click on a link next to the article on Twitter and pay like 10 cents to read and copy and forward the article for whatever reason, right? And that would be known as micropayments. Twitter would take a share of it. The New York Times or whatever content creator would take the other part of it. And while Elon Musk was explaining the idea of micropayments, is something he's seriously looking into, he said, or they could pay with Doge. He just casually threw out there, yeah, pay with Doge, pay with a few Doge. Anyway, another sign that Elon is really thinking about Dogecoin as he continues to take over Twitter and bring new ideas into reality. And I think that we are going to see Dogecoin continuously be an integral part of those new ideas. And the integration, I think, like I've said, I think will be very significant. Will be very significant. We must see in your face live, Stephen, in due time, my friend, in due time. I want my $2. Yes, someone got the reference. Can't wait till this shadow ban BS is gone, Zombie Doge says. Yes, you and me both, my friend. Life is on Twitter is a whole different world. It's a whole new world, as Aladdin said, when you don't have the shadow ban. It's been so long since I have lived life from being under the shadow ban that I kind of forgot what it's like. Anyway, let's take a look at a few relative news articles to what we're talking about here tonight. Here's an article I found through Fox. AOC and Stephen King lash out at Elon Musk's $8 Twitter verification fee. Gen Z weighs in a bit silly. College students sound off after AOC and Stephen King complain about Twitter verification fee. Some University of Texas Austin students raised eyebrows at public figures like Stephen King and AOC, complaining about Elon Musk's plan to charge $8 a month for Twitter verification. It is a bit silly, one student told us. But he added, I really don't care, to be honest. I think that probably sums up probably how most students feel at the end of the day. I really don't care, to be honest. King and Ocasio-Cortez got in spats with Twitter Musk on Twitter, after the social media giant's new owner announced the verification charge, King said that Twitter should pay him. Well, Ocasio-Cortez argued that it's like charging for free speech. I don't get that, to be honest, the first student said. One student said it shouldn't be a big deal for famous people as long as the app remains free. They can still just use it and not have a check mark if it's that big of a deal for them. She said it's not like charging to use the app. Hello, common sense. Good to hear from you. Glad to see someone finally stating the obvious. If you don't want to pay for it, then don't, told one other student. But I guess I get why they're upset, because it's like once you have done it, now you have to pay for it. I guess I could see how that would be dumb to them. So, yeah. Billy Marcus sounding off about the $8 fee. He's expressing skepticism whether it's a good idea or not. And as we know, Billy is never short or shy on opinions. I'm not sure how it scales either, but I will stick to my original proposal for this verification checkmark process, and that essentially have two different types of checkmarks. Keep the standard checkmarks in place, but still charge for them for the usual suspects, and they'd be like a different color, right? And that's for people with really high profiles, journalists, celebrities, inventors, whatever. So those will all be in place, but require all of them to submit and verify an ID, but also additionally have it democratized where anyone can get a different color checkmark. It'll be a different color checkmark, and require a government-issued ID. By doing that, this will radically cut down on the spam and scams, and also democratize the idea of having a checkmark. And essentially what that would do, anyone paying $8 an hour, please not, that'd be too much, $8 a month for the different colored checkmark, will essentially have a Twitter Blue membership plus all the additional features and improvements that Elon has been talking about and making for it. I'm going to keep repeating this, and hopefully someone that has better access to Elon than myself, someone perhaps who hasn't shadow banned, can run this idea to him, because I really think that this would be a helpful solution on this whole thing. Hit the like, everyone says Doge Extra. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for that. Miles Connor, good to see you in the mix, sir. We need a Discord. There is technically a Steven Steele Discord. It just has been abandoned for a while, but it's technically still there, my friends. Can I get an invite? Certainly. Actually, there's also additionally, I believe, a Discord link. I'm not sure if it's still active. Let me know if it's not in the text below the video. Cody, good to see you in the mix. Huge fan of your late night YouTube talks. Appreciate it, man. Haven't done a real late night YouTube stream in a while. Feels good. Zombie Doge Army. Oh, I already read that one off. Zombie Doge Army popped the cherry for super chats tonight. Appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate that. Dogecoin coming down a little bit now, just under 13 cents, but still trading remarkably in context of everything. I don't think it'll be long before the next leg up as it pertains to market value of the Doge. Probably, particularly as we know incoming Twitter integration is coming in. We know eventually we'll get full integration of Dogecoin with Tesla. In fact, I would dare say Dogecoin is far and away one of the safer long-term holds out there. It really is. It's one of the safer long-term holds out there, considering, and I say that because there's very few projects in which you can point to where you can literally see like a crystal ball and what holds in its future. And I can't think of one other major crypto where that future is so crystal clear on what we can anticipate. So really, I think it's one of the safest long-term holds you can make. I think more people will realize that as we push forward here. I really do. Particle, what is going on? Zombie Doge Army posting that Discord link. If you guys aren't already a part of my Discord, that's where you can find it. Feel free to get things activated over there, and I'll try to reactivate myself over there as well. Appreciate it. Well, Elon is just going wild, trolling his critics, and I think it's the right way to respond. It's a funny way to respond. It's really the best way to go about it. And we are just getting so much resistance and people kicking and screaming and throwing temper tantrums, honestly, like spoiled little kids. And I made that analogy in the Twitter space earlier with Catherine, where I think certain people have been accustomed to running the show and dictating the rules for so long that when it gets taken away from them, and really all Elon is trying to do is democratize free speech and give an equal playing field for more people without things being throttled with negative repercussions, like things like shadow banning, for example, which is, by all accounts, a good thing, right? But apparently some people seem very, very against that very premise. So what do you guys think? But it sounds like micropayments are coming in. And what this is also going to do, this is going to finally get some revenue generating options for content creators like myself and many others on Twitter. So I think this is going to be a good thing overall. And who knows what the rest of the weekend brings, but I'm sure at this rate things are going to be spicy. And AOC accusing and assuming Elon Musk was messing, particularly with her Twitter account, was, well, particularly hilarious. And then I confirmed with a few people who are verified checkmarks themselves that her accusation is ill-founded. All she needs to do is update her app. That's all she needs to do. So that was funny. And if you hear any noise, that's because Remy is at my feet, chomping on a bone. Let's see what other sorts of news I got pinned here. GM, General Mills, Pfizer, and Audi pull ads from Twitter after Musk's sale, along with many other companies rethinking their ties. Why? Not much has really changed or even changed over at Twitter yet. That's the funny thing. I mean, that's very preemptive. And it goes to show that all the fear-mongering and scaremongering over Elon's acquisition of Twitter is out of control. It's out of control. The hyperbolic meltdown over this is just extraordinary. And what do we make of it, guys? What do we make of it? Well, we know it's ridiculous, and it is what it is. Hardly surprising. But honestly, folks, is the world really worse off without some extra Pfizer and General Mills ads in your newsfeed? Is it really worse off? Is it really worse off? No. I mean, what does General Mills make? It makes corn syrup laden junk cereal. And my lady, she eats that crap. I indulge sometimes, but overall I don't like it. But that stuff's not doing us any good. And Pfizer, don't even get me started there. And I won't, because of YouTube's TOS. Zombie Doge Army coming in with another super chat. Appreciate it, man. $5. This isn't an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Stephen Steele. Yeah, you remember that from earlier, huh? And you remember a couple nights ago, we had a good time reading off all of the sanctimonious celebrity farewell tweets in the wake of Elon acquiring it. And there are also like highfalutin. I'm quitting Twitter because it's becoming an intolerable, a bastion of intolerance and hate speech or whatever. And I just wish to spread love. Like, okay, great. Spread love by showing off on Instagram or whatever. You humanitarian, you. Mr. X, coming through with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mr. X. Great to see you back. Your show is the best. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You're the best too. Felipe says, Doge chain is a scam, mate. Yeah, that could be. I don't know why you're telling me about it. I have no association with Doge chain. I don't know a lot about it. What I do have nothing against is the everyday retail investor making money. So just do your thing. But no, I officially I have no ties with Doge chain. Just officially, I know Doge chain is a pretty contentious issue in the Doge community, and I don't wish to engage in any contentious debate about it. It's just, I just rather focus on other things, you know. Anyway, Deadline.com says Elon Musk's Twitter is losing $4 million a day, and says layoffs will save $400 million a year. And essentially, Elon Musk is breaking down that he had to really drastically slash the Twitter payroll by 50%, and that's what he did. He shrunk down the amount of Twitter employees by 50%, and he had to do what he had to do, and we have more than enough evidence to suggest that many of those employees are not necessary. In fact, several are on record as saying their average work week comes in at about 4 or 5 hours a week before Elon took over. Yeah, so who can blame him? I mean, even the most easygoing of bosses doesn't want to pay a bunch of people six-figure salaries to work 4 hours a week. That's understandable, right? That's understandable. Alex says Steven's still the best channel on Doge. I don't know, man. I never purported that I was. I don't only talk about Doge. I talk a lot of stuff. I'll leave that for you guys to decide. I just like talking about the things I like to talk about, you know? Forbes coming in about all these companies boycotting Twitter right now. My goodness. NAACP President Derek Johnson called for all companies to pull ads from Twitter on Friday, tweeting it as highly destructive to our democracy for any advertiser to fund a platform that fuels hate speech, election denialism, and conspiracy theories. Wow. So free speech, expanding free speech, is highly destructive to democracy. This is a line of narrative. This is a common narrative that we often hear from the mainstream media. Anything that doesn't go exactly their way all the time is destructive to democracy. How convenient. How convenient. A bit hyperbolic, a bit ridiculous. Appreciate it, Alex. Wow, 4 hours, $100K per year, 4 hours a week. More than that even. I mean, we're talking about people that were being paid 300 to 600K a year being paid that for 4 hours of work. And this was commonplace. And I don't know if you've seen that TikTok of that young lady that put out a day in the life of being a Twitter employee. But a day in the life of a Twitter employee at that time pretty much equated to, if you hear some extra breathing, that's Remy licking my face and getting on the mic, getting real close. She's competing for my attention. She always does this when I'm streaming with you guys. Every time. Every time. Yeah, and the TikTok is basically, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, I go to the espresso station, triple macchiato with extra cream. Then I hang out in the yoga room and meditate. Then I get a green tea chai. Then I have a Zoom call. Then after that, I go to the lounge and decompress. Like, no hate on her. I mean, it sounds like a great gig. I can understand why they're upset losing a posh gig like that. But man, yeah, I'll be on camera again soon, guys, as well as my unofficial co-host, Remington Bear. She is chilling right now. I'm scratching her neck, and she's settled in here, right next to me. I mean, like, when I say right next to me, she's right next to me. Hump Daisy talking about some Texas toast. Remy licking the microphone. Remy wants to get right there on the news with you guys. Dogecoin trading right around 13 cents, coming down after apexing for about an hour there. Might not be the last of the spikes that we see for the evening. Cody says that was the equivalent to the day in the life of a toddler at daycare. Yes, indeed. Zombie Doe says, I bet it was a great gig, but that's not how reality works. Not for most of us, my friend. But no hate on him for enjoying that sort of gig. I don't blame him, but there's a new sheriff in town, right? There's a new sheriff in town. Elon needs to get some sleep. You might be correct, but then again, some of the most successful people to have ever walked this planet have been pretty light on sleep, or sleep in a couple different short shifts. JFK was notorious for doing that. JFK would only sleep in 2 different 3-hour shifts. He was infamous for doing that, and he said on top of being an insomniac, he felt that it made him much more productive. So he'd sleep at 3 hours during the twilight hours around now, and then 3 hours during the day. And we had a sitting president of the United States operating like that for a while. Before someone ended him there. Well, that's a whole nother story. That's in a whole nother rabbit hole, isn't it, folks? Crypto Ricky, what's going on, man? Adam or Dot? I guess I don't have a preference between those two, one or the other. I don't know, man. I'm familiar with them both, but I don't have a preference one over the other. But if you want to talk low cap meme stuff, right now I'm holding on to a Trump coin for fun. I got some money in there, and I think that might do well as elections pick up. That's my dog licking my face and chest, by the way. And then I've been into a project called Hibernation. It's an ERC20 low market cap that's got a really hardworking dev working on a multiple utility, online casino integration, stuff like that. And I can go on talking about that stuff, but I usually don't talk about low market cap stuff too often on here. I don't think Elon needs Adderall, Zombie Doge Army says. Yes, unlikely. I think he's got enough energy as it is. He's looking trimmer, too. He attributed to fasting and intermittent fasting, which is got a pretty good scientific record of being good for you. Yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Alan says back in those days it was common. Most of the German army used it. Yes. That among methamphetamines were used by a certain German army from a certain era and a certain leader of that particular German army. And when you look at the footage of it, it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. Parkin says, surge the beefs. It's what's for dinner. It's what's for dinner. Speaking of dinner, I'm getting hungry myself, guys. I got to tell you. Supreme says $1 soon. You may be right, my friends. You may be right. At this rate, it would surprise me if we saw a Dogecoin all-time high in the relatively near future, particularly as that Twitter adoption starts coming into reality and gets confirmed, right? Someone's grilling up some bison burgers. Bison is a very lean, nutritious meat. I like bison. I really do. Haven't had them in a while. Anyone ever have an ostrich burger? Not too bad. I'll take a bison burger or an ostrich burger. But I've had ostrich. But when I start thinking about it, I don't feel very good about eating ostriches. I gotta tell you. I feel like we shouldn't. I feel like some animals are made for eating for humans and others aren't. I feel like ostriches should be left alone. You know, I once went to this place in Branson, Missouri with my parents years ago on a trip we took together. And for those of you who haven't been to Branson, it's basically Vegas for seniors. So it's like Vegas without the casinos, but with all the shows. And they had a show there that was set up a lot like medieval times. The infamous interactive arena restaurant featured in the seminal 90s comedy Cable Guy. And so you're in this arena, or sitting on the outside of an arena, and the place was called Dolly Parton's, like, Roadhouse. Dolly Parton's something something. That's all I remember. And there's no silverware. You eat with your hands, and they feed you big turkey legs with just some wet wipes. And like grits and stuff like that. It was actually not too bad. And they had these cowgirls that would do all these tricks on, or let's say, Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. That's what it was called, Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. And they had featured all these really talented cowgirls who'd ride these horses and could surf on the horses, like ride them standing up and do all these sorts of tricks and stuff. It was awesome. But then to my surprise, they came out with some ostriches, and these cowgirls started, and they had, they jumped on top of the ostriches, and they were starting to ride these ostriches around the arena. And I was so impressed. I was looking at one of these gals, and my dad said, I think that gal was looking at you. And I said, nah. And sure enough, I saw her in the lobby afterwards, talked to her, and I got the number from the ostrich riding girl. And the rest is history. Dan the Man. What's up, Steven Steele? What's up back? Dan the Man. Haven't seen your name in the chat in a bit. Great to see you back in the action. I like Branson. It's definitely its own vibe. It's not for everyone. It's very distinctly Southern in its own way. A lot of good nature, streams and creeks, lakes, things like that. Fresh air. It's hot down there. It's hot down there, though. But it's entertainment town. It's an entertainment town. But without all the booze, not as much booze, and not as much gambling, but it has all the shows. It's a show town. It's like when seniors retire and they chill, they go on vacation, or they get a summer home in Branson. It's very pleasant. Andy Williams, before he passed, he he had a show there. He had a residency show there. I like Andy Williams, actually. You know what my favorite Andy Williams song is? Probably most of you don't know it. It ended up being covered by a pretty popular new wave / ska band from the 80s called English Beat. Can't get used to losing you, no matter what I try to do. Gonna spend my whole life through loving you. I guess there's no use hanging around. Guess I'll get dressed to do the town. I'll find some crowded avenue. Thought it would be empty without you. It's a jam. You know how I get on these late streams. It gets a little weird, right? It gets a little weird. That's why they're late streams. Beef Supreme celebrating 7 months member. 7 months member. Appreciate it. Appreciate the continued support. The Beef Supreme, he says, I like Doge, you like Doge. Press 69 for a surge. 6/9s are coming in. People are ready to surge it. People are ready to do it to it. Elijah Peterson's in the mix as well. I see ya. I see ya. RW says, Cable Guy at Medieval Times. Best quote, can I get a knife or a fork? Wench Waitress says, there are no utensils in medieval times. Hence, no utensils at medieval times. Would you like a refill on Pepsi? That is a good one, man. That was delivered by none other than Janine Garofalo. She plays that part really well, the sarcastic, dry wit. I don't think she's been in anything for a while. I actually saw Janine Garofalo on one of my trips to New York in a Starbucks. But I didn't bother her. She didn't seem to be in the mood to be bothered, and I don't blame her. Alex Price says, good croonin', thank you, sir. Ostrich Girl likes sugar cereal. Why does your chart only go down? Because we are on the live chart, and the live chart is going down. So it's only showing, the live chart only shows activity within the past hour. So we were higher. We were a bit higher, about 2% higher about an hour ago. But now we're leveling off. But if we go to the week chart, it's a little bit more bullish. Go to the daily chart. We spiked really high just about an hour ago. Now this daily chart only starts at midnight, mind you. But we go to the 1 month. Boom, very bullish. This is where we were trading sideways forever. 5 to 6 cents. Remember I told you guys this was going to happen. Months ago I said, we're going to be trading sideways between 5 and 8 cents for a long time. Lots of people are going to lose interest. But then when it takes off, it's really going to take off. And I think this is really just the first leg in it really taking off. I think from here, Dogecoin will likely fast track upwards of 30 cents plus. I really do. And I got a little bit of sort of good news back from Voyager. It looks like be getting about 70% of my portfolio back. The value anyway, within the next couple months. So better than completely losing out. I would rather it was 80-90% back, but I'll take 70. I had a lot of Dogecoin there, so I'll be looking forward to getting it back. Jim Baker lives there. Jim Baker, the old preacher. You don't say. You know, he had a son, and his son had his own cable show. Eludes me. And he started his own church, and his son's, he's about my age, and he's like, lives in New York. He's really hipster. He's really hipster, though, and he he's like a hipster preacher. I guess that's how I describe it. He seems very nice, though. He seems very nice. But I think you're right. I think Jim Baker is in Branson now. I think there's a lot of televised preachers in Branson. It's like preacher showtown, right? But before that, Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, before they got busted on a big scandal, mostly from Jim, like money laundering or something like that, misappropriation of funds from the late 80s, I think this scandal happened. Anyway, they had this place, this destination that they owned called Heritage USA in, I think, South Carolina. And my parents took us on vacation to Heritage USA when I was like 12 years old. And I was a little skate punk kid, a little skater kid. So we went to Heritage USA when I was 12. And this place was massive. Like, they had so much money running through that operation then. This vacation destination was just that. They had this huge mall that was just really ornate and like really ritzy and had the highest glass ceilings with like sculptures carved in that glass. Like, just super ornate. I mean, this stuff had to have been cost a lot of money. Then they had a water park. Jim and Tammy Faye Baker had their own water park. I kid you not. We went to the water park. They had a big wave pool. They had water slides and tubes and all this stuff. It was actually a lot of fun. They had an arcade, a big arcade there. I went to like some youth group. They had skate ramps and stuff. Man, it was so fun. I forgot it. I didn't feel like church at all. Anyway, if you Google Heritage USA, I think you could probably find some history and some pictures on it. Did you have long hair when you were a skater kid, Stephen Steele? Good question. So I had the haircut where you shave the back and sides of your head but let the top grow long, the top front. And then my front, when I was a kid, my front bangs were really long, but the back of my head was shaved. So I was always flicking my head to move the bangs out of my eyes. That's the kind of hair I had when I was a kid. Praise the Lord. PTL Club, yes, indeed. I mean, I grew up, my father, he still is a preacher, man. And still going at it. But I grew up in all that stuff, man. Pentecostal vibes, all of it. Did you have a Vision Gator skateboard? I didn't, but I had other Paul, I mostly skated Paulo Peralta stuff. So I had like Mike McGill with the skull. I had Steve Caballero. I was really into the Bones Brigade. I was a big skater kid all the way through high school and into my 20s. And then I had to really phase out skateboarding because I kept repeatedly screwing up my leg. And it just cost me so much time on crutches and in casts. It just wasn't worth it anymore, you know? I was a big street skater back in the day. In fact, I was sponsored for a little bit by a small skating company called Small Room. Let's see what happens if I Google Small Room skateboards, if anything pops up. Small Room skateboards. Yeah, so something does pop up from Small Room skateboards back in the day. And they even have an Instagram to this day. In the Wayback Machine, so it's pretty much for like retro lookbacks. And now I'm remembering these skateboards as I see a few pictures that they posted from back in the day, Small Room skateboards. And so I would be in street skating competitions and they would send, in exchange, I didn't get paid anything, but they'd send me free boards. They'd send me free decks and stickers and t-shirts and stuff. Joe's Extra says the water park was pretty cool. So he's been there, man. Wow. Joe's Extra also says Inspiration Network ball of all their stuff when they got taken out. Oh, yeah. Cody says Bieber hair before Bieber was Bieber. Yes, essentially. Essentially, that's what I had. I had a Jeff Kendall Santa Cruz. Oh, I love Jeff Kendall. You know one of my favorite skaters back in the day was because he was so peculiar and he was an artist. It was Neil Blender. Remember Neil Blender? He was a character. It's all messed up and abandoned now. I bet Doge Extra, do you live around there? I assume you live in the area where Heritage USA is. It's probably super haunted and creepy there now. It might be really cool to like film and break in there at night. It actually might be cool to take a skate down the water slides, man. That would be cool if somebody were to do that and videotape breaking into Heritage USA late at night. No comment on that last one, Zombie Doge Army. Oh my. Did those two have a thing? Hey man, no judgment here. No judgment here. Let's refresh the chart, make sure we are operating on current market cap, and we are. And we are. Yeah, we got a little over 20 folks in the late twilight, about 1:30 a.m. in my neck of the woods. If you're out on the West Coast, it ain't too bad. Not for a weekend, 11:30 p.m. If you're out on that East Coast or Florida, you are a true night owl at 2:30 a.m. Rob Rothskop. Wow, you guys have really stirred up the memories. So Rob Rothskop, I think my very first skateboard actually was a white Rob Rothskop with the monster breaking out of the target. Remember that? And I cut my duct tape. I cut my grip tape to look like zebra stripes. I was very proud of that. And I ordered it from some company, some skate shop out in California. It's my first skateboard. Honestly, but before I skateboarded, I was a BMX racer. Honestly, in hindsight, I wish I would have just kept BMX racing because I was much better at it than skateboarding. Sometimes you just have a natural proclivity at being good at certain things than others. I was a much better BMX racer than I was a skateboarder. I wish I would have stuck with BMX racing. Plus, because I screwed up my legs so bad permanently for the rest of my life through skateboarding. I don't know if that would have happened if I stuck with BMX racing. But I missed the days of BMX racing, man. Those indoor tracks, man. And I was actually had a few sponsorships there. I was moving up really quick as a kid in BMX racing. My first race, my brother was a BMX racer before me. He got me into it. My first race I started racing BMX bikes when I was in first grade. Can you believe that? In my first race, I rode on an adult Stingray that was way too big for me. And we were so poor growing up, we couldn't even afford number plates. So my brother and I split that bike and shared that bike, that old Stingray. And for number plates, we would just use paper plates and draw on them with black marker and tape them onto the handlebars. Okay? And my first race on that Stingray, my brother just said, pedal as fast as you can, look straight ahead, stay close to the ground, and don't pay attention to anything else around you. And that's what I did, and that adrenaline kicked in. Before I knew it, I got to that finish line, and I won. I won by a long shot. I didn't even realize it. And then I started working my paper route. And then with my paper route, I saved up enough money to buy my own dirt bike and my own gear. And then I got sponsored by this bike shop called Sundance. And then I also got sponsored by, which was really cool, which is where I got most of my cavities, was Andy's Candies. So as a kid, this Andy's Candies rep would show up to my races and just give me bricks of chocolate. Give us it was me and one other kid. He'd just give us bricks of chocolate, it was all the Andy's Candies that could stand to eat. For those who don't know, Andy's Candies is a chocolate company, chocolatier. Man, was that awesome. So I was sponsored by a bike shop and a chocolate company. I remember slime ball wheels, yep. Of course. I remember the logo. Rad was such a good movie. I mean, so cheesy, but so good, right? Yep, right? And that soundtrack is so ridiculous. It has songs like Break the Ice. Only you can break the ice. Oh, man. Good stuff, good stuff. Speaking of cheesy extreme sports movies, aimed at kids in the 80s and 90s. Thrashin'. Thrashin' is basically like the skateboard version of Rad. And the theme song, the lyrics went, "Thrashin' every day, Thrashin' USA." And then what came after that was a skate movie, perhaps even cheesier than Thrashin', starring none other than Christian Slater, called Gleaming the Cube. They were sponsoring greatness. Good work, Steve. Great work, Steve. Thank you, Beef Supreme. That'd be crazy if you could have someone give you a glimpse of your future. Like, in the future, you're going to have your own little talk show on this platform called YouTube, and you're going to broadcast over a computer. You're going to talk about digital money and other weird stuff. Like, wow. Remy doesn't laugh. Who's in the background, Steven? That's my lady, you guys. That's who. Christian Slater was great in Pump Up the Volume. Cool movie, great soundtrack. RW, so good. So good. Pump Up the Volume, great movie. If you haven't seen it, see it tonight, thank me tomorrow. That's all I got to say. Of course, after the stream. Excellent movie, excellent soundtrack. Couldn't agree more. So well done. And bro, we are bro, and still doing it. Yes, we're doing it. Still doing it. Still doing it. Let's see what's going on with Elon. See if he's still tweeting or if he's laid off for the night. Mastodon is trending. That is essentially a Twitter alternative for people that don't like Elon Musk, essentially. No Elon updates. Someone shilling pudgy penguins to me, which is interesting. They're still around. Good for them. Lee Reynolds, BMX 2, awesome DJ. Oh, that's right. And he's not the first person to make that move. Pro skater, pro BMXer to DJ, right? Oh, yeah. No problem. She's very chill. Yeah, Gleaming the Cube was good. Gleaming the Cube was good. I think that Suicidal Tendencies and the soundtrack, Black Flag, some other stuff. You know what's really funny is, I remember, I lost track of it. I'm sure it's in my storage somewhere, but Thrashin' on DVD, the directors and there's the commentary. That's the one thing I really miss about having DVDs, because I love watching director's commentary with the actors, especially for movies you really like. Sometimes that's even more fun than watching the movie. Those can be really funny. And the director's commentary along with the lead actors, like they got Josh Brolin. So Josh Brolin was the starring role. He was the protagonist in Thrashin', as I recall. And Josh Brolin went on to be a huge actor, wildly popular actor. And anyway, he is on the director's commentary for Thrashin'. And some of the other skaters from the movie are in there too. And they're all making fun of the movie together, how cheesy it is. Old school punk. Yeah, I suppose I am. I mean, I grew up in the punk hardcore scene as a kid. I started playing in my first hardcore band when I was just like freshly 16, 15, going on 16 years old. Taught myself how to play the bass. Met these other kids and they gave me their demo tape. I learned all the songs with their demo tape. And I started playing clubs by the time I was 16 with the packed sold out clubs on Sunday afternoons with everyone slam dancing and stuff. Remember BMX Bandits had Nicole Kidman in it. Good memory, BMX Bandits. I do remember it. And it was one of Nicole Kidman's first movies. Talk about cheese.
but good cheese, you know?
That's right, Nicole Kidman. You're bringing it all back, man.
Man, this is like the ultimate nostalgia dream, right? Talking about nostalgic, like classic, like BMX and skater stuff, man. You know, there's a really cool Instagram profile. You guys should look it up, called Gen X BMX, I think, or Gen X Bikes, Gen X BMX. Yeah, I think it's Gen X BMX, and it's some dude that's a BMX collector, and he refurbishes them, and he fixes all old 80s BMX bikes up like brand new, and he shows them all on his Instagram, and it's like so much cool stuff. It's crazy. Misfits, oh yeah, I got something to say. I can't say that on the air, but they had some really, really graphic lyrics. The Misfits are touring right now with Danzig. Do you know that? I didn't know that until I saw, I don't know if you know her, she's a NFT artist. She's a good artist, actually, Darlene. And she posted pictures of her at a Misfits show from a couple nights ago where Danzig was singing. Yeah, the Danzig. I think Michael Graves did pretty okay too. He was one of the temporary singers of the Misfits while Danzig was on hiatus. Well, Danzig had no interest in singing Misfits songs. Elijah says, I was at Daytona Dirt Collective back in the day. Wow, man. See, I'm not the only Gen Xer in the mix here. At least we're not boomers, right? All right, guys. Well, my appetite's getting the best of me. I'm going to eat some food, relax, and watch a movie before we take on another day. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow, so keep those notifications on, keep them fresh. Really cool hanging out with you guys. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoy it. I like just hanging out and just talking about random stuff like this. It's a lot of fun. We got to do this more. Anyway, you guys are the best. Appreciate it. Until next time, this is your man, Real Deal, Steven Steele. Signing out.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
There are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult. probably not the guy that most people would bet on.
Who wins?
It's like a little kid fighting a bunch of sumo wrestlers. Usually the sumo wrestlers win. We're a little scrappy company. Every now and again, a little scrappy company wins. And I think this will be one of them.
Everyone from the Doge community that's in here tonight, I want you to listen to me very carefully. Right at this moment, I want you to stop what you're doing. Even anything else you might be doing, we'll have in the stream. And I want you to look. I want you to look at that computer screen monitor or that TV screen in front of you with that thumbnail art and my voice coming through to you right now. And I want you to understand one big, simple, epic concept. We are going to win. We are going to win. We are going to win. We've got the Doge momentum. Can you dig it?
Maybe have some fun. I mean, it's like there's a good chance that crypto is the future currency of Earth. Right. And then it's like, well, which one is it going to be? Like, what would be the most ironic outcome? That the currency that was invented as a joke, in fact, becomes the real currency.
Right. Wow. No, absolutely. So, to the moon.
To the moon.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
No.
Why not?
I don't ever give up.